Welcome to Cigars and Hip Hop, a show about hip hop during its golden age era.
Alright, what's up everybody?
What's happening?
What's up?
Welcome to the last episode of 2019 of Cigars and Hip Hop.
Yeah.
So,
Damn, last episode.
yeah,
Wow.
the year's about to end. Got a couple of weeks left. Holidays starting.
About to be broke.
About to be super broke.
Man.
But it's good to be back with Big Chris and DJ 17.
What's up?
It's good to be back with
In
you
the
guys. Yeah, how you guys doing? How's everybody? Everybody, everyone going through the trials and tribulations of life. But, glad to see you guys.
Yeah, it's good to see you, man. Good
Yeah,
to see all of you.
It's real seeing both of y'all. Hopefully 2020 will be better than 2019.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but it could be a lot better.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, same thing we think about, right? Every day, you hope the next day is better than the previous day. So,
Exactly.
hope next year is better than this year. So, yeah, I know you guys got some sticks going right now. So, you guys want to talk a little bit? What are you guys smoking on?
I'm smoking a JFR, and I just found out it's called Just for Retail. And I was thinking of just for running. I was thinking of things that meant, but it was simple as just for retail.
Yeah, a lot of the cigar manufacturers will make a specific stick that they sell just for resale. You can't buy if they won't put their name on it. It's almost like a blind taste test, You'll never know, and you may like it, you may not like it, But a lot of the cigar manufacturers make those for certain different brick and mortar shops. So I know I think even like the bigger suppliers like Cigars International and Neptune, they also have something, but they call them with knockoffs.
Right. They also have a West, cowboy kind of thing. What do they call it? This, not Desperado, something else. But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
They sell 50, right? 50 in a bundle.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's it exactly. 50 in a bundle. But yeah, it's good because everybody can't or don't want to spend $18, $20, $25 for a stick. And honestly, those $18 and $20 sticks sometimes can taste like a $5 stick. And you can buy a $5 stick that tastes like a $18 or $20 stick,
Exactly.
And that's what I like about the JFRs is because the price of them, they range from anywhere, depending on gauge size, anywhere from $7 up to $12. And for everyday smokers, if you can find a good stick for anywhere between that price, you smoke one a day, figure that's only like $60 a week.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, I'd have bought weed, that. Fuck, I think the last eighth of weed I bought was like $125.
Pricey.
And it wasn't all that. I'd rather have a stick that I could smoke for about an hour and a half or whatsoever, and So.
Yeah. Now, what brand were you saying the JFRs?
The gentleman, may he rest in peace, his name was Steve from Piedmont Tobaccoist. He told me that Hoya de Nicaragua was making these sticks for him. So I've smoked it it's been several years and really enjoy it. It's a nice, good flavor to it. How does it taste with that rum?
It's nice. It's a good combination. Would you say this is a strong one?
That is, it's a Maduro, but it is a rather strong one.
Yeah.
A lot of people make that distinction. They think Maduro, just because it's a really dark stick, is supposed to be super, super strong. But Maduro, being that it's a dark stick, is actually a sweeter stick.
Mm-hmm.
And all Maduros aren't super strong whatsoever. But
Exactly.
that has a good flavor, especially if you compare it with a nice alcohol.
What was the name of the alcohol that I'm drinking right now?
That is a Havana Club.
Havana Club.
For you,
Like nice spicy rum.
if you're out there, you can get it at Havana, Cuba, or your local, what do you call those in the airport? Duty free?
Oh, yeah.
Duty free.
Duty free has it. Duty free has it. You can get them at your duty free.
Talk to me about duty free. What the hell is duty free?
So, let me ask you guys, as cigar enthusiasts that you guys are, what are you guys' so for throughout the year, you guys have probably, we've had a couple of these episodes. What would you guys say is your top 2, top 3 cigars you guys have had this year?
Wow.
I know that's a lot for you, Big Chris, right?
Yeah.
I'll start what you think, but I'll say Leaf by Oscar. It's probably one of my favorites.
That's a good one.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, Leaf by Oscar is really
Yeah.
good. I haven't had one of those in a while, man. I actually like a very, very, very inexpensive stick called Brick House. You can get it at your local wine, like Bevmo or whatsoever, like $8. Or you can order it online, it's like $5. And when I first tasted it, I was kind of like, eh.
Just tastes like an $8 stick.
Yeah. But then, the one I smoked was very, very mild. But then I smoked a different one, the Mighty Mighty. It's like a 60 gauge, 6-inch stick. Man, it was really, really good. It
Nice.
had fresh taste to it. I don't know if it was just because of maybe the humidor that they had it in or whatever, but man, it was really good. And I've been stuck to it ever since. Not because I'm a cheap ass, but just because it's a good fucking stick for the money. You get your bang for your buck, you know?
You can definitely tell too what I've learned. Like I don't smoke cigars or anything like that, but like from what I've looked at and like seen, like a humidor, a good humidor will make the difference in your sticks. So it's like if you guys are thinking about going out there and buying a humidor, make sure you get something good to store your stuff in because
Exactly.
that's you got to keep those sticks nice and
very
and
true.
moist.
You gotta upkeep it, right? I mean, you gotta upkeep it. I mean, what do you do like?
Well, I'm gonna tell you,
upkeep them.
the mistake people make is when they buy these humidors. You can get actually a plastic Tupperware box or a one of those ice chests and keep cigars in if you have that many. Honestly, it really matters what you keep in the box. Me myself, I like this these little bags called Bovita. They have them in different ranges. Like I usually use one. I think it's the humidity of it 70% or 72% because it's always cold out here.
Yeah.
But it keeps them really fresh.
You talk about those brown packets?
They're the brown packets.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
They people make the mistake of using the ones that they give you. They use that little hydrometer gauge thing. That shit don't work. And they use the little sponge that they give you as well.
Sure.
That shit don't work.
So how do you know what temperature to keep it at if you don't have a hydrometer?
Get the Bovita one. Bovita has a full line of things to get your stuff prepared. They have a little bag that prepares your Bovita hydrometer to get it calibrated to the right thing, and you can download it. So on your phone, it'll alert you, hey, I'm getting dry in here. Hey, it's too much moisture in here. So it works out really good, and it comes with this little bag that you can put in, get everything gauged up, and as long as you keep putting your bags in, it's self-sufficient. It'll keep your stuff fresh, and the bags, some people reuse their bags. They use like a undistilled water or distilled water and to reconstitute them. Dude, the bags are like $3. Just go buy a new fucking bag.
Yeah.
Right.
Instead of, but everybody's different.
What about those crystal?
I hate that shit.
containers.
Shit is messy as
I mean,
fuck.
do you recommend those or not? I mean, they are messy.
They're cool. I used to use them,
But
but
the
it's
Bovita
just
is better?
yeah, because after the moisture is gone from those crystal things, you have to basically go ahead, refill it again, wait for the bubbles to get the water again, to expand and all. The Bovita is just it's for me. I'm lazy. I like to just throw the shit. What did they say? Set it and forget it. That's what I like.
Yeah. Oh, I guess the reason I asked about those crystals is because I'm thinking, are there chemicals in those crystals? I mean, they obviously expand, right?
There has to be something.
So I mean, it's in your box with your cigars. How, what is the likeliness of some bullshit getting into your cigars?
I just don't think I trip on it because I don't. It's so much shit. Have you ever seen the way they fucking ferment these damn cigars, man? I mean, I guess everybody's different, but I was watching one cat do it. It was on something on television, and he had all the tobacco leaves, he got like this big ass barrel right in the middle of I think they call the big bundles of tobacco palones or something like that. You know, palone is bald head Mexican. I mean,
Pelon,
Mexican,
yeah,
Spanish.
Yeah, pelon.
See, I'm so ignorant.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, you just say palone is bald in Mexican.
Yeah.
I mean, I always fuss with that people saying that shit.
I thought
It's Spanish.
I thought
Excuse
you
me.
were saying palon or something.
But
Which could mean something else.
But the cat put it in the middle of the room, this big ass barrel with water,
Huh.
and he dropped the pill in the water. It was some type of chemical, and it expanded, and all this smoke came out of the barrel and got all over the leaves, and it basically kills the bugs. But I'm like,
Oh, wow.
what the fuck is it?
Yeah.
If it's killing the bugs, it really can't be all that good for us either.
Exactly.
It's almost like dropping like the pesticide on,
Yeah,
on like
yeah.
the plants and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
you're like,
So I'm kind of a little, you know, chemical wise, I just say fuck it. We're gonna die one day anyway.
Well, the thing is, I mean, there is, like, you know, a lot of these farms in Nicaragua, right? You know, these guys know what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
They're not stupid. You know,
We've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
And they've been doing it, you know, the simple way without all these mass machines whatsoever to
Right. Doing it that old school way.
Yeah.
Well, we got a lot of good smoke going on right now.
Yeah, we
And we got a lot of good incense going on right now too. I'm loving the incense.
Yeah, I gotta burn
That's
that,
my
man.
favorite.
My person in the around close to me complained about the cigar smoke. So
Oh, I'm not even. When I get home from these podcasts, I have to go immediately take another shower. My wife is like,
Go to the
no.
garage.
She's like, you got the beard, you got it all up in the beard, you got it all up in the, you know, I gotta put my clothes in a trash bag so I can wash it the next day. Like when I get home, my wife she is on me about it. Get in there.
Well, tell her I apologize.
No, it's all gravy.
She knows what's up.
It's all gravy.
Yeah.
All right, so I mean, we've had a lot of cigars this year. What about the drinks though? Like, you know, a lot of good pairings. What would you say, Frank?
Well, definitely had the Four Roses.
The Four Roses, yeah.
You know, I've had the forget what that one is.
I think we had
called,
the
cross.
Oh yeah, what did
I think we had that's the Douce.
Yeah,
That's the
Yeah,
Douce.
that's the Douce.
Switch it up to that Douce. Yeah, that's the good. That's one of my favorites.
What else? Most recently, the Macallan. I think.
Yeah.
That was good. And shit. I mean, sometimes I even smoked them with a port.
A port.
Yeah, good port. So.
I've been smoking a lot of mine with just fucking red wine.
Yeah.
Just, you know, I don't know. It seems like everything go good with wine.
Oh yeah.
But,
Most
you know,
definitely. Yeah.
I don't have a taste for wine.
Really?
I've never had a taste for it. Like
Red or white?
either. Yeah, neither. Like I just never really got into it. My mom, like her and my cousin used to drink wine a lot when I was younger.
Yeah.
I just never got it. My mom used to drink that Carlos Rossi.
Ooh, Carlo Rossi's the shit.
She used to drink that Carlos Rossi, that
Man.
jug. And she used to drink that box wine. She'd go to Costco and she'd get that box wine along with, like, she'd drink bottles, but it's like, you know, when you got 2 kids, you need that grab and go adult juice box.
Man, I was down in LA years ago at the Bonaventure Hotels for an All-Star game. Man, I fucking seen E40 and D-Shot. I don't know if Be Legit was with him or not, but they was in the Bonaventure, which is a really nice hotel in Los Angeles, and them 2 brothers had a bottle of Carlo Rossi wine.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And it was just so, I felt so at home, so at peace. Because, you know, you see some big celebrities or some big rapper, whatever, they are talking about fucking Cristal and Moet and all that. These motherfuckers are drinking some Carlo Rossi wine. You can't get no realer than that.
No. You got a jug of wine.
Man had a fucking $1 million in his pocket,
and
but he had a jug of $7 wine, and he was enjoying it.
Still keep it
I
real.
love E40, man.
I love him too.
I love the click. Man.
I used to have a crush on Sugar T when I was younger, but I think she probably kicked my ass. I didn't want to fuck with her.
Yeah, that's one of my, those are like, that's the staple of Bay Area right there.
Yeah.
That's the ambassador.
I can still remember E40 in the click. It was a poster I had in my bedroom. I want to say it was a dark poster, and they were standing like in front of some old schools. I want to say Cutlasses
Yeah.
or something, but it was a straight Vallejo picture. You could look and say, "Oh, these are Vallejo cats."
Yeah.
The cars was clean. They was all fitted up and everything. But I can just remember always thinking the Bay Area. You thought of two groups. You thought of Too Short in his group, and you thought of E40 in the clique.
Yep. That's the ambassador.
Yep.
Yeah, there's been a lot of a lot of stuff, going on too. So to keep it going hip hop, I'll start off with so I was watching Snoop was holding a kind of like a what do you call it, like a forum. A couple of I forgot actually when it was. I can look up the actual date, but he had TDE, which is Top Dog Entertainment, on as his guest, and he was like interviewing them and stuff like that. And he had made a comment that I had read that kind of struck a idea in my head, and I wanted to bring it up with you guys and see what your guys' thought on that. Well, first off, I want to see like how familiar you guys are with the TDE roster. Obviously you guys know there's the three main guys, right? Kendrick Lamar,
yeah.
Schoolboy Q, J Rock.
All good names.
Oh, amazing artists in their own right. They have their amazing production. Top Dog, who's the CEO of the company, seems to be one of those guys, kind of like a Jay Prince almost type cat. You know what I mean? Like he's a real he's down for his roster. He'll do what he needs. He's a good guy.
Great business guy.
Yeah, great business guy. He does a lot of stuff. And he's definitely brought that LA sound back to Los Angeles, I think. And I feel like they were missing that kind of thing. But the comment that Snoop had made was that he thought that the TDE roster was better than Death Row's roster back in the day. Because if you think about it, when Death Row left Los Angeles, to me, they were still strong, and they still had a lot of great MCs, but they weren't as unified as they were when Death Row was there. Like Death Row was the one that really kind of, brought a lot of the MCs to the forefront. Obviously, Ice Cube and Razkaz and MC8, all these guys were already established, and they didn't need Death Row to push forward. Exhibit and the Alcoholics are also. You have the other cats too from Living Legends and stuff like that. But what do you guys think? I feel like TDE, in my opinion, is they're not as they're different than Death Row, in my opinion, because Death Row was a lot more about the gangster rap.
Sure.
I feel like TDE is not necessarily gangster rap. I know Schoolboy Q has his ties to the streets. They all in some way do have ties to the streets, but they're not as. I feel like it's not as harsh as Death Row was.
Exactly.
So upfront about it.
Yeah. So I'm interested. What are your guys' thoughts? If you take the top three, and this is no disrespect to anybody on the TDE roster, but let's say the top three artists on that roster, right, is Kendrick Lamar, Schoolboy Q, and J Rock, and you put the top three against Death Row's, which would be Snoop, Pac, and I'd say Dr. Dre, right? To me, those three are legends, and I feel like the TDE guys, those are legends in the making. What are your guys' thoughts on that kind of stuff?
I think honestly, it's too soon. I can understand where Snoop was coming from, but I think it's too soon to give TDE the same kudos that I would give Death Row.
Sure.
I agree with you 100%. They haven't been around as long, or maybe not as established, or I don't even say established. Death Row had a catalog.
Right.
You had the Daz Dillingers, you had the Corrupt, you had Nate Dogg, you had Snoop, you had Dr. Dre, you had Lady of Rage, you had RBX, you had, a lot of different cats.
Right.
But the difference is, to me, I think Top Dog Entertainment is more about the business side of things.
Right.
More about taking care of the artist. Death Row, even though it was a powerhouse back in the day, it was a lot of ignorant shit that went on with that,
Yeah.
And it seemed like they were more about flexing muscle and flexing nuts. then they were more about making that money and
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I feel like Death Row kept it about, let's keep the shit raw,
Yeah.
right? We are about the streets, and we are about this money, and we're also about the hip hop.
Oh, and I
So
forgot Tupac too, the biggest
Right.
artist they had on their damn catalog.
Yeah,
Fucking
exactly.
Tupac,
Yeah, so I'm thinking Death Row's model. What would you say? You know how most companies have their little
Their
message,
slogan.
their slogan, right?
Yeah.
So Death Row would have been, we're as real as we're from the streets and we're rappers, and our music speaks our life.
Yeah, I mean, you could go as far as just saying like their motto was probably Suge Knight's like, if you don't want a producer all up in the video,
Yeah.
all up on the song,
Exactly.
dancing, come to Death Row.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I feel like it is
But
definitely
He should have said too. If you don't want to get your ass beat,
right.
if you don't want to be pistol whipped, if you don't want to be this, don't come to Death Row.
Right.
Because a lot of bullshit went on with that fucking company.
Yeah, I feel like, to me it was like, I respect Suge Knight for what he became as far as like the man he became in the industry. Like you see a lot of like, from the HBO documentary when they were talking about Interscope and like how he used to go to Jimmy Iovine's house and play football with Jimmy Iovine on Sunday, every Sunday.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
this is a dude from Compton, like that came up in Compton and like built something. Like, sure, he may not have done it the right way all the time. And to be fair, he's probably not really that great. Like, he's not that nice of a guy. He's not that good of a person.
Right. But he had the mentality.
He had that hustler's like mentality and
True.
he had that drive that like pushed him. I do definitely agree with both of you guys. I don't think I feel like the TDE roster in itself in its whole. They're all like amazing artists and they're all like up and coming superstars. Obviously, the three that I mentioned, J Rock, Schoolboy Q, and Kendrick Lamar are among today's like top 15 MCs that are in the game right now. And obviously people debate Kendrick Lamar could be like the 1-2 greatest young MC in the game, and I'll definitely debate that with anybody anytime. But yeah, to me, I felt like Death Row just like the older I get and the more I miss that music, it's just more of like the more I reflect on it, it's just I wish they didn't keep it so street all the time. And I think that's where Puffy, learned from it was like, we don't gotta be street all the time.
Right.
But what I wanted to bring back up real quick, and I didn't get a chance to write this down on our thing, so this is a bit of a curveball for you guys. Is I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with this is something that kind of bothered me a couple of weeks ago. Not weeks ago, but a couple months ago. I wish we would have been able to talk about this, but I just remembered it right when Big Chris had brought up Tupac. Glasses Malone. Are you guys familiar with Glasses Malone?
Mm-hmm.
Very good, like young MC. He's been around the game for a long time. So he was on the Breakfast Club. I want to say a couple of months ago. And they were interviewing him because of his video. So if you guys aren't familiar with Glasses Malone, he was a very good friend of Baby Lane, who was a notorious, I'm not sure if it's Compton. I can't remember what set he was, so I won't throw that out there. I know he was a Crip. Baby Lane was actually the guy that got jumped in the casino when Tupac was killed. And he is theoretically the person that they believe is the person that killed Tupac, him and his crew. Huh. And this was kind of
Allegedly.
Of course. This was also said by his uncle, who basically was up for. I think he was going to jail, and he basically snitched out his cousin, his nephew, and the other guys in the car. To save himself from having to go to jail. Now, unfortunately, Baby Lane he passed away, and the other two members that were with them in that car passed away as well. Mm-hmm. But the reason why I bring this up is
natural causes.
No, natural causes from a bullet.
Lead poisoning.
Yeah, lead poisoning. But the reason why I bring this up is Glasses Malone was a friend of Baby Lane's and knew him very well, and so Glasses Malone has a video that he put out. and it's
Tupac Must Die.
Tupac Must Die. Yes, that's the name of the song. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, it's in the point of view of Baby Lane, and not of necessarily Tupac's view, right? So it's taking from the, you're a street dude that gets jumped. I'm not from the streets, so I don't have that code. My code is, if I get jumped, I gotta take that ass whooping and move it on, because somebody bigger and better than me whooped my ass, and I gotta go.
It just won't happen again.
It just won't happen again, because I know my place now.
Exactly.
However, there was a lot of talk about that, and the one thing that struck me, like the video itself, I don't mind. I think it's a great artistic view of a song. When I first heard the title of the song, I was a little taken back by it, because I was like, yo, like, this is a West Coast ambassador that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. But then I understood, when you understand the thought process of the song, you understand the content of it. So it's not necessarily a direct diss to Tupac or anything like that. It's just more of a perspective of Baby Lane. The one thing that did get me a little riled up, and this is what I'm interested to know from you guys, is he had said that Tupac was not a superstar in hip-hop. He said he had Snoop, and this is me paraphrasing what he said, right? But he had said that Snoop was the bigger superstar, and that when Tupac came to Death Row, that's when Tupac blew up. And what struck me was that the Breakfast Club, like, that's Charlamagne the God, Angela Yee, and DJ Envy, they didn't really correct him on it. They questioned him on it, but they didn't correct him on that. And
they didn't want to take a stand.
Well, they brought up, like, he had done movies, he had done, he had his albums out, but they never really, they failed, what I believe they failed to do was to correct him in saying that, like, Tupac had, by the time he got to Death Row, Tupac had 4 albums out. He had Tupac Lives Now, Strictly For My Niggas, Me Against the World, Thug Life. When he went to jail, Me Against the World had just came out. Mm-hmm. And then when he went to Death Row, that's when his, All Eyes on Me and Machiavelli and Are You Still Down and the Outlaws albums came out after. That's post death, right? But the one thing that they were like, they just didn't say is like, he was like, Tupac didn't really have any hits. And then I was like, Brenda's Got a Baby is the first thing that pops into my mind. Dear Mama, second thing that pops into my mind.
My homies.
Yeah. I Get Around is the second thing that pops into my head. So my question to you...
Which was a hit.
Yeah, exactly.
Every 5 minutes that shit was playing.
So my question to you guys is, do you guys believe, like, what are your thoughts on that statement that Tupac wasn't necessarily a superstar until he got to Death Row? I mean, obviously Death Row boosted him, right? That's like, KD going to the Warriors, right? They were already a championship team, but then they get KD and they go into another, like, stratosphere, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I understand, but KD in his own right was a superstar before he came to the Warriors. To me, Tupac was already a superstar before he came to Death Row. So what are your guys' thoughts on that?
I'm on the same page with you. Tupac was a superstar before he went to Death Row. Not only was he a superstar through his music and through his movies, but also just in the media with all his different theatrics with the fucking news and court. And I mean, when his name was mentioned, it just brought you to attention to be like, oh, what happened now? It was always something.
Yeah. I feel like his name struck, like, fear in white people.
Yeah, it did. He was He was like a new, to me, Tupac, and I'm not the biggest Tupac fan.
Sure.
But I would be a punk if I didn't give credit where credit is due.
Right.
The motherfucker was a genius. Mm-hmm. He could act. He could rap. Mm-hmm. He was very articulate in his speech, and some of the shit that he said was thought-provoking.
Yeah, exactly. Still applies to today.
Actually applies more to today than it did back to when he was alive, because the shit is more out in the open now with the police killings and everything that's happening. Right. I think he was a fucking prophet in a way.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
So I don't agree with that statement.
The motherfucker gets studied at universities. His lyrics get studied because of what he spoke about. A lot of the stuff he spoke about we see on the news today, like you're saying, right? The cop beatings, and all the shit going on in the hood.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no one was looking at it, but he was basically writing the book before it even became very popular.
Well, it's like J. Cole said, right? Nas wrote the Bible. Pac was like Jesus, and Nas wrote the Bible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. That to me is the exact like. That's right there is the image that it is.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Cigars and Hip Hop. We'll see you next time. Peace.